Hello, and welcome to another episode of the podcast. Welcome to the Josh OT podcast. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I hope you're having a wonderful time. And let's start off with the story in all of the NFL right now. I hope you're seeing it because it's quite frankly, it's something we've been seeing coming. Us Jets fans, we've been seeing coming. We finally did it. We got Jamal Adams to ask for a trade. Wow, we really did it, boys. The Jets at it again, displaying why they're trash. A trash organization. They can't keep their good players. Doing it again. Jamal Adams. Hey, earlier today, he wrote some spicy stuff on Instagram. I think we can all say that. He wrote a little post about maybe I gotta go. Maybe my time here is done. And we were all looking at it like, damn, we're really there now. We're really there now. We've been seeing this coming for a long time. I'm pretty sure I brought it up in like episode 2. Episode 2, I brought this up. Jamal Adams does not want to be here. We've known he did not want to be here for a while now. During this season, he's been kind of doing some really trash stuff when it comes to the perception of this team on his social medias. I believe at one point he deleted a lot of Jet stuff from who he followed and stuff, and took it out of his bio. And I think that was the first time that we really got the glimpse of what would come in the future. Right there is when he did all that stuff. Now I think I might have seen some conflicting reports on that, whether or not that was real, and that's just some people drumming up some extra stuff. I saw some people claiming that he never did follow or he never did have it in his bio. I didn't really look far enough to tell if this was the truth. But at the time, it didn't really matter to me because he just wasn't. He wasn't with the team for a while. He hasn't been for a while now, and it's because we suck at winning. And when so when we first were getting these signals, we were like, maybe he wants to be out. But I don't see it happening. I feel like we'll get this done. Kind of, Jamal Adams' not reputation, his relationship with the New York Jets before all this, before getting drafted or before being mad with them. I'm sure the first year he still had that hope. He still had that hope in the first year. When he got drafted, he loved it. And if you don't know, it has to do with this relationship he has with his dad. His dad is a former player in the National Football League. And the team that he used to play for was the New York Giants. If you don't know about the history of this, in the draft, Jamal Adams said that he made like a bet. He made a bet that he'd be drafted way before his dad was, and he was. He ended up being drafted way before his dad. Won that little bit. I think there was money attached to it. Maybe, I don't know. I don't remember that far, but. I mean, I wouldn't think there's money attached to it because they're father and son, but they're also, I suppose, I don't know if his dad is rich, but he definitely played in the NFL. This might have been like an incentive for his son, big payday. But I don't know. I don't know for sure if there was money attached to it. But Jamal Adams felt like this was meant to be. He felt like being drafted in New York was kind of like. This was kind of like his destiny. And that's why, in the beginning, he really went all in. He went all in. He was the Jets player that we all wanted. And quite frankly, people like me still want, just for his play on the field. But, this off-the-field stuff is so wild now. It's he asked for the trade. But before he even does all this, he's letting it be known on social media how he's feeling. None of this was handled in the background. None of this. And it's because of Jamal Adams' side of the camp. They let it all loose. That's not to say that the Jets haven't said stuff from here and there, but I think the Jets at a point realized that the more they go after this situation, the worse it looks on them. And that's the truth. And it did. That's why they stopped. They definitely put this thing on pause because they knew it was better for them. The only thing the Jets had to do was just sit back and wait for him to really just start exploding on social media, and the it makes in the eyes of everybody, and when you're just looking into like you're looking at it from the outside, you don't really know what's going down. All you see is kind of Adams really making the digs. You see that he wants his money now, but you don't really see the Jets side. You don't really see the Jets as of late anyway, with a lot of the stuff that's been going on. And I think this has just been going on with almost all facilities right now. Everybody's got their lips sealed because these times are so uncertain. And they don't know if it's going to be a full season, if it's this going to be that. And one of the big things is they don't know if something's going to happen with the salary cap. And they're very afraid of that. As a business, I think we're seeing it with the MLB. They're not taking any. They don't want to take any chances this year with some money, And I would think that, like, if you're a big sports boy, you got all this money, and on top of that, you're sitting on one of the most historically lucrative businesses in all of humanity. We've always had sports, man. That's just how it is. And if you're sitting on top of that, I would think, like, let's take the loss this year. Like, not every year has to be perfect. That's owning a business. Sometimes you got to take the loss. And it doesn't look like the NFL wants to afford to take the L. And I think if it was a smaller, hungrier business, maybe with a lot of passion they would. And or not even the NFL, like the MLB here, they're really being stingy over there. And maybe if it was like the OGs and they had all this money because it's been going so successful, they would probably be like, hey, let's just fire it. Like, the people are here to watch sports, or whether that be in person or in the radio, or nobody does that anymore, unless you're in a car ride. Even then, somebody put out their somebody pull out that 4G LTE, son. I'm gonna watch it in video form. Anyway, whether it's on radio, TV, I don't think the OGs would be so stingy with the money you got here. They would just want a good sports product out there. But that's just growth. The growth in a business. Hands change so many times. It becomes more about the business side eventually, because not everybody came into it for the same reason. And well, that's just the businessification of the NFL. It's not a word, but it definitely, like, coming back to this Jamal Adams situation, the NFL used to be way more. There used to be way more loyalty from, like, the player to the team that drafted him. But that's not what it is anymore. There's just too much money. And that's the side where you got to look at it and you got to be like, all right, Jamal, I get that. I get that you really want your money of this giant pie that you're being baked into, And as of recently, one of the things that's really been grinding Jamal Adams' gears is recently there was a post by Bleacher Report, I believe, on Instagram. And this is where, for this week, I think, where we really started to see the Jamal Adams coming out again. He came out again. He came out swinging. Because I don't know if it was swinging, but he definitely subbed. It was about Myles Garrett getting his contract, I believe, on the Browns. Myles Garrett was drafted in the same exact draft class as Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams was also drafted in Adoree Jackson, I believe. Same draft class. First rounders, both first rounders. Jamal Adams gets picked at 6. Adoree Jackson is picked later. I don't know when. I just know he's picked later than Jamal Adams. He gets a contract this year. Myles Garrett is getting a big boy, reportedly really big contract this year. Jamal Adams is not like this. We already know what Jamal Adams thinks of himself. And we already know what I think of him. I think he's the best safety in the league. I think he's got way more in that tank to bring in a top quality NFL player product for the New York Jets. Doesn't look like he's going to be there, but I think I think he's got that. He's got so much juice left in that system. He's got a lot of years. He's got a lot of years in those tanks, man. And I think he's really good. Jamal Adams puts himself in the same vein as Tom Brady, Aaron Donald. Maybe he brought up somebody else, but I don't remember. But this comes from Jamal Adams, straight from the horse's mouth. After an interview he had, a post-game interview, I believe, in a loss, saying that, or maybe it wasn't even that. Maybe it was just an interview from practice where he was saying that he puts himself in the same vein as these greats, all-time greats. It looks like Aaron Donald's an all-time great. He just keeps putting that product on the field. And then, of course, Tom Brady, who's got all those Super Bowls. You cannot look the other way when you see those rings shining. You got to look at those Super Bowls. You got to acknowledge them. He is going to go down as one of the greats. And Jamal Adams sees himself in these same vein as these guys. I would say here's the thing with that is you want your player to have that kind of confidence where they're like, I can be this. But Jamal Adams isn't that. He isn't that kind of player yet. And it's because of these players that he compared himself carry a lot of accolades. And Jamal Adams has only been in the league for 3 years. Come on, man. Come on, you have a lot of time, and I believe you can be an all-time great, Jamal, here. This Jamali boy, I definitely believe. But you haven't proved it yet. I think you proved that as long as you continue in this trajectory where you grow as a player and you just dominate on that field in the plays where you dominate, I think if you continue there, you're gonna get there. You're gonna crack that little nut. You're gonna crack it, and it's gonna open up, and you're gonna get some Super Bowl rings. But you're not there yet. Not even Aaron Donald has Super Bowl rings. So I don't even know if Super Bowl rings are what's gonna do it. But really breaking some records is probably gonna do it. If you want to be acknowledged like that, I think that needs to happen, regardless of what the records are. You got to start breaking some. Maybe I think you broke some records for the Jets, but not in overalls. I think you missed some sack numbers this year that you really wanted, or that he really wanted, Jamali, that you wanted to break the sacking record for safeties. And you almost did. You didn't do it though. But what it shows is that growth. Is that growth that I see, that a lot of people see when we start saying, "Hey, this guy can be really good." Like when in the history books, like you can look back and say, "Oh yeah, Jamal Adams. I remember when he was out on the field." And you will. I truly believe we all will at the end of the day. But it's clear that Jamal Adams doesn't want to do it here. He doesn't want to do it here. And it's because he puts himself in the regard of these big players, but he hasn't even broken those records yet to really be acknowledged like that. You're acknowledged as a lot of people do acknowledge you as the best safety in the league. There's a lot of people that do say that the other candidates have like really big teams behind them. But if you look at your record, at Jamal Adams' record, it's like they see it. They're like, oh, this guy's great. He's great on a lot of levels. But you're not them yet. And it's because you need to win more. And that's a big part of his frustrations with the Jets. Jamal Adams is just another sign of how the Jets are terrible. It's a terrible organization. That's all it is. At the end of the day, no, I don't like the social media antics. I don't like it. You could wish that a lot of it was just kind of, hidden and behind closed doors. But it's like things like how he congratulates CeeDee Lamb, or makes some kind of acknowledgement of CeeDee Lamb videos of him practicing, but says absolutely nothing about our own second-round draft pick, Denzel Mims, and him practicing with the quarterback. Nothing. And it's like from a fan standpoint, yeah, that's what you want to see. You want to see, and he did bring that before. He was actively recruiting players to come over to the Jets. If you look back at this time last year, Jamal Adams was all for the team, was all for the growth, and he was all for being a Jet for life at this time last year. what has happened between them? I can tell you what's happened. Well, around this time last year, definitely before this time last year, we had Adam Gase on the team here. That's the big difference here, is Adam Gase. It's a difference from year to year, but in terms of Jets ownership, it's typical. It's typical to be picking up a man like this that pisses off. And first off, we knew this was happening coming into this. And I do blame a lot of this on Adam Gase. The fact that Joe Douglas isn't giving him the money, I don't really think that's the problem here. Because there are teams that Jamal Adams says he would rather be on, and he wouldn't ask for an extension right away like he's asking for the Jets. This is the Jets tax. The classic Jets tax that we all have to pay as Jets fans. I mean, as the front office has to pay it. But as Jets fans, this is what we have to go through because the ownership is incompetent. And they allow people like Adam Gase to stick on for another year. And we've been getting it all year last year. We didn't hear nothing about Adam Gase from Jamal Adams unless he was like specifically asked. Oh yeah, great stuff. The offense is really moving. You didn't have to ask him about Greg Williams. Jamal Adams was telling that front office, if you look back at it now, he was telling that front office, take this man out, pop in Greg Williams. And when as a fan, that's what I wanted because Greg Williams looks like he was bringing the adjustments. He was bringing the fire that the offense seemed to wholly lack adjustments and fire. They didn't have that. Maybe like a few players on the offense. And if you look back at a lot of those interviews, a lot of times, he even Jamal Adams has a nickname for Greg Williams. He calls him G-Dub. And that's because he thinks Greg Williams can bring him some wins. And that defense almost always went out looking to get that win. One of the games they definitely didn't show up, the Ravens. They didn't show up in the beginning. But I think it's because they just didn't even... They had zero faith in themselves being able to whip the Ravens' ass. I feel like that's what really happened. And then eventually as that game went on, they realized, oh, shit, maybe if we were playing this whole time, we could have fucking actually won this game. But they kind of let off the gas in the beginning. And I think they were like... The Ravens game really showed the Jets defense the potential that they have. And also the offense. The offense got some progress there. But at the same time, we still had a pick from Sam, It didn't produce like we should be seeing production under the quote-unquote offensive guru, the QB guru, this guy. And Jamal Adams is seeing all this. Jamal Adams does not want to lose anymore. He's not the type of athlete that's going to take it. And he was telling the front office, oh, we all love Greg Williams. Take this clown out and put Greg Williams in as intermediate and give him a try. Give him a real interview and see how it goes down. I wonder sometimes if we have like a little diamond in the rough, we don't even know it. Some fans know it. Some fans would at least choose a lot of fans would at least choose Greg Williams as head coach over Adam Gase because from what they've seen on the field, he really gets it done. He gets the job done. It's a beautiful sight. And Jamal Adams, I think him saying all the support that he was saying in all those interviews last year was really him just saying, come on, bro. Take that clown out. We don't need him. He's got to go. But they didn't acknowledge. They did not acknowledge those requests. Those requests of many Jets fans, too. And the New York Jets are going to pay for it. Us as fans, we're going to pay for it. But this is how it goes. This is just how it is. And at this point, there's really nothing we can do about it. Jamal Adams is going to do what he's going to do. And honestly, I think a trade is imminent because I think Joe Douglas, this is almost like unrepairable, probably. You ask for a trade. I mean, I don't think it's unrepairable. I think but I think it would take more from Jamal Adams than what he's willing to give because he clearly does not want to be here. And at the end of the day, if you're running a team, The only players that I want to be there are the players that want to be there. None of these players that's not you. It's, on top of all this, you're supposed to be a leader, and you're really displaying how much you hate it there. Well, not even that. You hate the contract situation, but like I said, on top of that, the players got to see. Oh, you drooling over Dallas on social media. You know, if you're Jamal Adams and you are definitely showing on social media. You're like, send me to Dallas. The other players see that, and you're supposed to be a leader. It's really not good for the team. I don't think Joe Douglas likes it one bit. One bit. And it makes you wonder if there are other teams out there that don't like it either. At the end of the day, I don't think it matters too much because he's gonna give you the product on the field that he's gonna give you. He didn't really falter this season. He had another record-breaking season for him, an all-pro season with all this chaos. So, even though he got these social media antics, I don't know if it's going to really make teams shy away. I wonder if it would make them not pay him as much. But that's not what it's about, and we know it. It's not about the money because he has a list of approved teams that he would rather go on. So, I think what he's going to do is, if he gets traded, he's not going to ask for an extension right away, and he's going to play and be nice. He's going to be real nice, and he's going to be what he was for the Jets for the first few years. And it's going to make the team go, oh, look at this great player. This is who we thought you were. And it's going to be from an organization that Jamal approves of because that's how he wants it. He's asking for certain organizations, and it's going to be a winning organization. And that's, at the end of the day, what happened here. It sucks that you lose a player that you drafted, but that's the cost of being a trash organization. You can't even keep those players, let alone sign great free agents and keep great free agents. This is the tax we pay, the Jets tax. And that's all it is. That's just the world the Jet fan has to live in. And speaking of the incompetent Jets, get a load of this. We got some corrections. We got some corrections being made that we actually wanted. We actually probably really needed. This guy has, maybe he's the reason why, we had such bad injuries on our team this year. But all I know is that he's gone. The head trainer for the Jets health office, I guess, is fired. Or not fired. He's been demoted. They can't even fire him. The Jets can't even fire their people correctly. They just demote him, keep him in-house. Anyway, he's in-house. They demoted him. Head trainer John Melody, who's been with the organization for the past 24 years, has been replaced by his longtime assistant, Dave Zuffaleto. I don't know. You heard it here first, boys. According to an ESPN report, this is the New York Post talking about it here, and we had almost record-breaking injuries last year, if I remember correctly. It was real bad. I just know it was really bad, and we wanted to see. The Jets, who finished 7-9, endured a particularly dramatic injury-ravaged season in 2019, forced to play a league-high 21 players on injured reserve. So yeah, they had the most injured players in the league. This is a move you like to see because goddamn, that was not cool. That was not cool, and it definitely derailed our season. Before the season started, we were talking about the ceiling was playoffs because of and we saw it when the first game, not the loss that we took, but the player that we had in C.J. Mosley before he went down. We saw we had a real game breaker on the defense, and on top of Jamal Adams being there, we were like, okay, scary defense, real scary defense. And by the way, this is not to undermine how good Neville Hewitt is, who filled in for both Avery Williamson and C.J. Mosley because they both went down. he filled in for them, and he did a really great job. We found out that we have some great backups there in the linebacker position, so that was great. That's great that we know that. Excuse me, because now moving forward, we really understand the value of these players in the bottom of the chart, the roster chart. And I think that's a great asset to have, and that's one of those things that keep teams like the Patriots going forever, is because they have a great, solid bottom half of the roster. And that's what really puts, that's a winning culture right there, when from bottom to top you're doing it. And I think that was a good learning experience for Joe Douglas. If anything that came out of last year is he really saw the potential of these players at the bottom. But C.J. Mosley is no doubt way better than Neville Hewitt, and that just speaks to the play of C.J. Mosley, really. And we saw a lot of faith in that. We had a lot of faith in that. But also, we had some misguidance, because we thought that the line is with, especially with Homeboy coming out of retirement to play for us, we were like, oh, maybe we got a marginally better line this year, and it ended up being arguably worse. And that's one of the biggest things there that happened to us last season. But before the season started, we thought we were going to, it was a possibility. It was in the cards that we were going to go to the playoffs. We lost so many people, man. So many people got injured. It really ruined any chance of something like that. We did have, even with that terrific offensive line, maybe with the unsustained injuries on that line, it would have been easier for them to gel, really quickly. Because when they started to get together, there was some games for at least some quarters, they were giving Sam a little bit of time. It did not happen often, though. So I still think that the O-line is so important, and not having it last season really ruined us. So I wouldn't have seen playoffs even if we had everybody healthy. But it looked really good before we started. And all these people falling down, a league-high 21 players, it really contributed. It really contributed to what went down last season, which is why I also, as a Jets fan, have hope for this next season. Because C.J. Mosley's already cleared. Christopher Herndon is on his way back. He's not suspended no more. And he's hungry. We got a lot of players that we saw a lot of potential in coming back. And that's one thing to give us hope. And and also, whatever damn pick we're going to get from this Jamal Adams trade, we got that coming over. And maybe a receiver. Hey, if you want to go to Seattle and pick up, what's his name? He uses like a pacifier as a mouthpiece. Everybody knows who I'm talking about. He was a draft pick last year that kind of fell from his projected stats in the first round to the second. He's with Seattle. I'm just going to look him up. All right, Seattle Seahawks receiver. I'm going to find out. Right now. DK Metcalf is who I'm talking about. Now, he can develop, this guy. He's a giant man who bulldozes over people, catches that ball. And if I want to see Jamal Adams go anywhere, I like me some Russell Wilson. I love watching the Seattle Seahawks play because Russell Wilson's so damn good at football, and it's very entertaining. And and it's not in the AFC. So if there's anywhere where we could get some kind of possible trade going, imagine bringing DK Metcalf over here. That would be pretty cool. And Jamal Adams would go over there, and he would no doubt, that defense and Jamal Adams would be crazy. It would be crazy, and it would give me an excuse to still enjoy Jamal Adams as a a game-breaking safety. And he's very entertaining to watch, which is what was great about watching him on the Jets. But honestly, don't see it coming back. And if he's not coming back, send over DK, maybe. I would love it. If Bill O'Brien still had D-Hop. Oh, man. Send him over for DeAndre Hopkins, please. Please. That would have been amazing. And Bill O'Brien out there selling all his players on the damn dollar menu, we would have been able to get it done. But that didn't happen. And it's not going to happen because now he's going to go light it up with Kyler Murray, which sucks because that would have been awesome if that trigger-happy Bill O'Brien still had a hold of DeAndre Hopkins. Imagine if we did do that trade a long time ago. There would have been some backlash from the fans because they would have still wanted Adams. But I think D-Hop would have paid off in the long run when it comes to our offense. And then having Denzel Mims, giving him a lot of time to work into his position and kind of have that number 2 role. And maybe, not maybe, there would be a whole bunch of opportunities for Denzel Mims because D-Hop is getting doubled every play, you know? And Denzel Mims is just out there who's also a very talented wide receiver. And he's getting some more catches in the Big Apple. That would have been cool for Denzel Mims. But that's obviously neither here nor there. When D-Hop got traded, man, I wish we would have picked him up. And hindsight's 20/20, but now like seeing that, back then we knew Jamal Adams didn't want to be here. We've been known for a while now, but if we got it done back then, man, and we imagine having DeAndre Hopkins on here. Damn, that would have been something to watch, but I guess not. We're still gonna have. I think we were rated as the 30th team ranked, and when it comes to weapons, for our offense. Isn't that crazy? No, it's not. If you're a Jets fan, it's not crazy because you've been watching what's been happening, and so have I. And I've been seeing the mismanagement of all of the weapons on the offensive side. We just need a receiver. We really need another one, and that's not no disrespect on Denzel Mims. That's just saying, come on, man, bring in some more help. Sam Darnold, you're just building up his offensive line. You can only do so much in one season. But now, if we're going to trade Jamal Adams, we got some heavy gold right there when it comes to football player, defensive football player. And somebody's willing to pay the price. And I haven't looked at any of the potential teams. I'll probably do that sometime soon in the next few days. I'll look at the potential teams. The more serious the situation gets, I'll look at the potential teams and if there's any real good wide receivers that are in them. One of the ones that really stuck out to me instantly when I saw that list, though, of Jamal Adams approved teams to be traded to. When I saw that list, the one that came right out to me, jumped right off the page, the screen there, nobody reads pages anymore, was DK Metcalf on the Seattle Seahawks. And on top of it, it would be fun for me as a guy who likes to see Russell Wilson succeed, just because I'm a fan. I'm a fan of his great football plays, very entertaining. It would also be cool to watch them. And if we got to get rid of Jamal Adams, I don't want to see him on the damn Cowboys. Nobody wants to see him on the damn Cowboys. If I saw him on the Seahawks, it'd be a easier pill to swallow, man, because I'd have some fun watching those games. I definitely would. And he'd definitely tear it up on that field. That great defensive coaching that goes on there. They really change up their scheme depending on their players and get it done the way it needs to get done. But we got to get something out of the exchange, and if we can get another wide receiver, golden. If not, or if we really got to go to the Cowboys, we need one of them top flight linemen ASAP. ASAP, no questions asked. That's got to come through, or you're not getting it. You're not getting Jamal Adams. The price is that high, and I think the rest of the league sees that. They definitely do. And somebody's going to pay it. Somebody's going to pay it, and we're going to get something big. If we do it, we're going to get something ginormous, and we're going to love it. We're going to love it. I wish it was DeAndre Hopkins, but it's not. Bill O'Brien pulled that trigger way too quick. Way too quick. Here we are, though. But that is just wishful thinking from a wind-starved Jets fan. If you know, you know. And that is that's going to be it. That's going to be it for today's episode. It's a shorter episode. I didn't really get off of the topic of Jets football. That's just the way news is going right now. I want to see if the shorter episodes work better. If I need to start piecing them out more. I'm hoping that I can be on a upload schedule next week and be a little more consistent. But this was a good little shot. I definitely need to say my piece about Jamal Adams because this is a situation that you saw coming a mile away, and it's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate, and I hope the best for Jamal Adams. I hope he gets his money wherever he's gonna go. He's whatever, bro. Like he just wants his money, and that's it. That's really what it is. And he's dealing with an organization that doesn't want to give him his money, and he's done so much for it, but you almost shatter all that goodwill in just a few tweets, and that's just the way that he wants to rock with it right now. He clearly wants out, and if he wants out, Joe Douglas, if you got to make a trade, let's get some weapons in here. I'm definitely hoping we can get some more weapons for Sam Darnold. But anyway, I hope you're having a wonderful, splendid, beautiful day. I hope you're getting all the things you want, all the things you need. You're working hard to get what you deserve. And, let's hope the Jets can win some games. All right, everybody. Goodbye.